This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for November 24, 2022. And in the news this afternoon, Health Ministry receives a PAHO review of nurseries amid newborn deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that it has received a report from the Pan American Health Organization on special care nurseries at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, Bustamante Hospital for Children, arising from an outbreak of Klebsiella pneumonia in the special care nurseries at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. The Ministry requested technical assistance from PAHO regarding infection prevention and control measures in special care nurseries. It was reported that 13 babies died during a bacterial outbreak at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. A Health Ministry review found that the spike in the deaths of newborns linked to the bacterial outbreak was due to a staffing crisis at the neonatal units. The review also attributed the increase to equipment challenges and overcrowding leading into the so-called crop season, where births exceed the general monthly average. Daily average births rose from 28 in July and August to 42 in September, a ministry census showed. In a statement this morning, the Health Ministry indicated that the PAHO report describes the main findings of a technical mission carried out between October 14 and 22, and also details the rapid assessments of infection prevention and control in the special care nurseries at the 3 health facilities. The Health Ministry says the report is currently being reviewed by its technical team and that the main findings will be shared with the public. Jamaica deports accused child molester who hid in Ireland for 11 years. A 71-year-old man who hid in Jamaica for more than a decade to avoid child molestation charges has been deported to his homeland after being captured in St. James last week. Charles Menard Rainey is accused of molesting a girl under the age of 16 in Georgia back in 2010. Investigations led to him being charged for aggravated child molestation and sexual battery. However, he did not show up for his scheduled July 2011 court appearance, leading to a bench warrant being issued for his arrest. After his arrest in Norwood, St. James last week, Rainey reportedly admitted to authorities that he had overstayed his visa, issued in 2011, that was only good for 6 months. Rainey was captured in a raid carried out by members of the Lotus Scam Task Force, Fugitive Apprehension Team, Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, and the United States Marshals Service. He was deported to Georgia last Friday, November 18. Rainey is being held in the Paulding County Jail without a bond. Persons who may have been victimized by Rainey are being encouraged to contact detectives at 770-443-3010 or send a tip via the free Paulding Sheriff mobile app. Saint Anne man who allegedly chopped ex-lover's partner charged with murder. The 60-year-old man who allegedly chopped the partner of his former spouse to death in Discovery Bay, St. Anne on Friday has been charged with murder. Charged is Rudolph Thomas from Retirement District in the parish. The deceased has been identified as Roy Alexander of Tricey in the parish. Reports are that around 6 p.m. on Friday, Alexander went to visit his girlfriend, who has a child with the accused. The police said Thomas had gone to visit his child. An altercation reportedly developed between the two men, and Alexander was chopped several times with a machete. He was pronounced dead at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. Minister Bartlett among Caribbean delegation to visit the Middle East. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett will join his counterparts from several Caribbean countries, including the Bahamas, Barbados, Guyana, and Cuba, for a visit to the Middle East at the end of this month. Mr. Bartlett says the visit is to solidify a multi-destination tourism strategy and open the Middle Eastern market to the Caribbean. He says the trip will be the first of its kind for the region's tourism. Minister Bartlett stated that Panama will also be included because the country has already signed a multi-destination agreement with the countries in the Northern Caribbean. Mackenzie warns infirmary workers to stop harming residents. saying improvements made to the country's infirmaries are being undermined by staff who hurt and steal from the vulnerable in their care. Local government minister Desmond McKenzie has warned the staff that being politically connected will not save them from being fired. I want to make a warning. We have seen significant reduction, but it still exists in some infirmaries. I make no apology whatsoever. If it's the mayor of Montego Bay give you a job in the infirmary, or any political person, anyhow you get the job, regardless of how you get the job, once you are found violating the rights of the residents in our facility, you no longer have a job in these facilities, he said. We have seen cases where residents have been assaulted, broke them hand, residents drop out of their bed, die on the floor of infirmaries. Nobody never see that happen until the next morning when everybody wake up, he added. That is why we have installed cameras in every infirmary in the wards so that we can monitor the residents while they sleep and look at those who are 2 foot posts taking out the goods for the poor and the destitute. He was speaking Wednesday during a workday at the St. James Infirmary. There was also the handover of a therapeutic park and the ground was broken for a new kitchen and a dining room at the facility. Upgrades such as those initiated at the St. James facility, Mackenzie said, are just an example of the work his ministry has done to improve their delivery of service to residents. He said $5 million had been spent on the therapeutic park and the painting of a mural on the wall of the facility. Another $23 million has been earmarked for the kitchen and the dining room. A ward that was recently constructed at the facility is also expected to be put into use soon when furniture that was ordered arrives. If the truth be told, the investments that we have made are under threat because some of the persons who work within these facilities continue to prey upon the residents, continue to take away, continue to treat some of the residents with little or no regard, the minister said. Minister urges companies to pay guards at agreed rates. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark is adamant that security companies have a duty to pay their guards at the new minimum wage rate, while making the point that business arrangements come with both a profit and a risk, in reference to whether the government will adjust its contracts with security providers to factor in the new minimum rates which took effect in April. The companies are obligated by law. They are standing on very shaky ground to use that as an excuse or an argument not to pay new rates. That defense will not stand up. The reason why the prospect of profit exists is because a risk also exists. In other areas of the economy, when prices adjust unless your contract provides for it, you can't just come and say, I want to negotiate the contract sum. You want your government to be vigilant with the revenue of the country and not to part away with things that aren't contractually due. Those companies have an obligation to pay their workers at the new minimum wage level, Dr. Clark stressed. He pointed to the recent court ruling in the claim brought against the Marksman Security Limited by the National Housing Trust, noting that although that case pertained to another matter, this should bring the security company to their senses. The Supreme Court rules in favor of the guards that they are employees and not independent contractors. There is speculation that the ruling could cause an immediate 50% increase in the cost of private security providers that would be passed on to clients. Concerns that some guards were not being paid at the new rate were raised by Member of Parliament for St. Andrews Southwest, Dr. Angela Brownberg, and supported by Opposition Leader Mark Golding during discussions on the first supplementary estimates for the 2022-2023 fiscal year at Tuesday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of the House of Representatives. Brownberg said there is an opinion that there are individuals who are working in the ministries and the government agencies who are still not being paid the most applicable minimum wage. I'm referring to a number of security officers who are working in the ministries. Many are thinking that the government would have a responsibility to ensure that even when individuals are employed by a third party, that the current minimum wage is what is being offered. Goldin, meanwhile, pointed out there are people in the industry who have not received the benefit of that increase because their employer contracted on the basis of a certain cost which existed when the contract was signed and have not been prepared to absorb the loss because it is not earning anything more from the government for its services under that contract. There is no provision in the contracts with the government for an adjustment to take account of that increase, and the risk of that is passed through to the workers because they are not going to get that increase. They're still being paid on the basis of a minimum wage that prevailed before the most recent adjustment. He said he agreed that the security companies are so obligated, but there is an imbalance in bargaining power between the guards and the companies, which means employers can deny workers their increases. There is no clear recourse to the workers that's easily available to ensure that they get paid at the full rate, and the employers are saying, I can't pay you at the full rate because I have a contract price on what I was paying you before, said Golding. In February, the government announced a 28.5% increase in the national minimum wage, moving it from $7,000 to $9,000 per 40-hour work week. Cabinet also approved an increase in the minimum wage of security guards, adjusting the wages from their 40-hour work week to $10,500, up from $9,700. Golding said since the guards are stationed at the state agencies, the government could be proactive in intervening to regularize the situation. Dr. Clark said the cost of regularizing those arrangements is of less concern than protecting companies against the business risk, but that there may be a greater good to be considered, which is the lives of the individuals who are being affected. To the extent that it is brought to my attention through the respective ministries, I would be happy to take a look at that. So far, the Health Ministry has indicated that it is negotiating with firms that provide security services across the health sector with a view to adjusting rates in order to accommodate the new minimum wage. Speaking at a meeting of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee last week, Permanent Secretary Dunstan Bryan said it is not clear yet what impact the Marksman Court ruling will have on the negotiations. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.